Hey, what's up, dude? It's me, Mr. Aaron here, the cool dude here, and welcome back to another video today. Welcome back. I'm back in Roblox, and I think today we're gonna be playing the war. We're going back to we're going back to the war simulator, but today I want to do something different because I'm gonna be doing like basically going through like because I've already played this game before with my cousins and I really liked it. So today I thought like because I've already ran through the third rank, and I think I'll go explore all the I want to pretty much in separate videos. I want to like explore into different maps and kind of like explain the history behind each map here. Yeah, as well. And meanwhile, we'll just I'll create different separate videos, and yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. Yeah, sorry for the long wait, but anyways, let's get right to it. Here we go. All right, guys. So here we are. If you guys still forget like how this game works, so basically, so first of all, you have the travel to a new era. So you can basically travel into any area that you would like to wage into different wars in different timelines. So currently, like right now, I'm in like the Pacific Theater that cost me like 30k dollars, and I thought about it to make a video like that would be really fun of like going to each different maps and try to like for my history buff brain to like pretty much to sum up the history that is based on in each different maps here. So except for maybe the ones that maybe like I don't know, like the future map, because it doesn't because that one would really match up. But yeah, let's pretty much start with the Colonial era, since this is pretty much, I think, based off of the American Revolutionary War. So yeah, so here we go. So here we have some British redcoats. All right. So I think like based on the map here, what I'm thinking here, this is basically like the British colonialism in America, since like after like the French and Indian War that were both Great Britain and Prussia had won the war, and then as well, it's also called like the 7 Years' War in Europe. But after that, the war was so expensive that Britain like came out of the cost. Like it basically they were running out of money, so they then decided that they would pay the colonies different taxes. And so unfair taxes like unfair taxes like the Stamp Act, and also the Sugar Act, and also like how that basically that angered a lot of the colonists, because of cries of like taxation without representation within the British Parliament. And so like basically how they revolted, and like that the British that they throw snowballs and at the British turned into rocks, into oyster shells, and then the British would then fire at like five colonialists, and then which came known as the Boston Massacre in 1770, in which then that the anger grew, and then which then like also like that would lead to the Boston Tea Party, where a group of Sons of Liberty, known as like that, there were the group who dressed up like Native Americans, and how they basically gathered together and also dropped the tea into the Boston Harbor, which angered the British, and which they introduced more intolerable acts, and also closed down assemblies, and like how also showed up with more British redcoats, in which then like Boston would then be under the direct control of Great Britain, and then like how many state representatives and like from different states had then like met in Philadelphia, and like how like includes like George Washington, John Adams, John Jay, Samuel Adams, and also like Patrick Henry, John Dickinson, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, and Alexander Hamilton, those founding fathers say basically questioned on like what to do with the British, and like so. And basically, like what they're do is like then like have since they're so like how they and then that they basically like the first shot later that the redcoats and also then formed the new Continental Army would basically like then fought in the battle of in which the first shot was heard in Lexington and then in Concord, in which then like that's where they gain victories, and then the British would then like return and retreat all the way into Boston before like then like another American general named Benedict Arnold also went through Fort Tycoga and also stole like pretty much like how all their weaponries and supplies with the help of Ethan Allen and his Green Mountain Boys, and they basically would gain a lot of ammunition, and then they brought in the cannons with led by also another General Henry Knox, and they fired their cannons, and then like they pointed at them and then like threatened the British to retreat, in which the British would then like retreat from Boston, but then like after the victory in Boston, the Americans would then go elsewhere, like into later. Also before that, there was also like that the Americans also fortified in like in Breed's Hill and also in Bunker Hill, but then Breed's Hill would then be fallen next to the British as well as in like other failed battles that George Washington failed in his Continental Army, which went as well as in the Battle of Bunker Hill because they were running out of ammunition. So in which they would suffer defeat after defeat and after another defeat in many battles, which George Washington had like a hard time, in which they decided to let their troops into like Valley Forge, in which many Americans that were freezing to death, that there came the snow winter, like many of them, some of there were mutations in the like American Continental Army. There was not enough food and not enough supplies, in which many of them decided to go home because they didn't know how to be trained like a soldier. So, but George Washington knew about this, and he had to do something, anything to do to get a victory to get the British. And meanwhile, George Washington had a plan in which he then decided to cross the icy Delaware River. And this was like also before that since the Battle of Princeton and then also the Bunker Hill, many of like Thomas Paine's like wrote like Common Sense, which basically read that basically for advocating for American independence from the British. And then later, like how that would later lead to like Thomas Jefferson and many other in the Continental Congress, and they do need to like get their independence, and so they'll have mostly with the Declaration of Independence written by both John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, but also the primary, which would be Thomas Jefferson. He wrote down the Declaration of Independence, and it would then be which it was then happened on July 4th, 1776, and that's where the British had also gained their independence, in which the United States was then born and the colonies were free. Which, well then, like the many Americans, they also took down a giant statue of the English King George III. Meanwhile, with George Washington, after the days from Valley Forge, they then crossed the icy Delaware River, in which George Washington was able to brave enough to turn the tide of the war and hope that they would get another decisive victory. Meanwhile, the British were also aligned with also a group of German mercenaries called the Hessians, in which they would then like attack the Hessian forces at like later in Trenton and later at the Battle of Princeton in January the 3rd, 1777. In which then like the war would then also be fought in both in the north and also in the south between led by generals like General Cornwallis, in which they were also like tried to invade north, and they one time tried to like cut off the supplies with the American forces in Fort Tycoga, but that was repelled by generals like Benedict Arnold, and before Benedict Arnold they then secretly paid in money with the British and then later becomes American traitor. And like how that basically, and also lead to other new generals like from France, which his name is Marquis de Lafayette, in which he decided to join the American Revolutionary War because he believes in like heard the words of the Declaration of Independence back in America, that like that stated that we made this that to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their leader with inalienable rights, with along with these are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And that's why Lafayette decided to join the war, in which then he got there, and he was then like pointed by and sided with George Washington and his Continental Army, and they fought in battles like the Battle of Brandywine, where Lafayette had then later injured his own leg, but then he would then later recover and no, but like how they are basically like also. They would then later fight in the battles, like in the battle of like in like the Chesapeake Bay, since the British had then like and the Battle of Yorktown, which is the last battle that they both fought the British, and before that the Articles of Confederation was then ratified, and following the Battle of Yorktown, like how General Cornwallis, that the American forces had then gained more firepower and maneuver and more morale than like the British, and then like at the end of the Battle of Yorktown, the British would then surrender in 1781, in which then they decided they both went back to Great Britain. But then the war was still continue on, and would not end until at the year 1783 that they both decided to make a peace treaty, which is held in Paris, known as the Peace Treaty of Paris, in which then Great Britain would then later recognize America as a sovereign, independent, and free nation. And the Americans also gained the territories of the Virginia territories, which would then began America's expansion westwards, and like how there, and because also like how and after the war, also after the war, Congress had also struggles of like how to basically have a new government of the new nation, because they don't have like the president, they don't have like the executive branch, they also didn't have like the Supreme Court, so that just means there's only Congress to rule. And like how basically they did have some power, like how to make coin money, reform, like also make the military, and like, but the only thing is they cannot like pay any taxes, which means they would lead to a lot of financial debt. So this would also lead to events like such as Shays' Rebellion in 1786, where many of them had protested and like basically like how they basically that they didn't like this form of government. So, and like how the founding fathers had realized about this, and so they decided that they went back to the drawing board, and then they decided that they both made the U.S. Constitution, and how basically like how then like that they basically the branches of government, like they then finally added the Supreme Court, the president, and also checks and balances of basically how to prevent each government from being too powerful, and also then like also they would then later add like the Bill of Rights, because then in December 15th, 1791, because before the founding fathers had problems such as like the Federalists and like such as Alexander Hamilton and John Adams and John Jay, like there are problems, whereas that they basically like how they didn't like want to pass the Constitution, because they think that they established like a well and strong federal government. But the anti-federalists, they basically said that they don't want to pass the Constitution because they want to like, unless if it's been passed to give people like different liberties and unalienable rights, and also to limit the powers of government. And that's why founding fathers like George Mason then solved the solution by adding the amendments into the U.S. Constitution, in which then like ratification was then also argued before like then that they also different states have then had to pass their amendments, and then they later get over like them do regard, and before all the amendments were then officially passed to the U.S. Constitution, which then includes like the First Amendment, which is basically the right to freedom of speech, press, religion, and the right to keep and bear arms, and yeah, and so. And also, like, the Second Amendment of, like, the right to keep and bear arms. So, yeah, that's pretty much the full history of the, and of the whole history of behind this map here. So, yeah, I hope you guys, pretty much, learned something new. I also mentioned, like, how the Uncomfortable Generals, they also fought in the American Revolutionary War, like Horatio Gates, and, how he also fought in like different some of these battles, and yeah. So I hope you guys learned something new. But yeah, so you guys can go research and check it out about the American Revolutionary War yourselves too. But yeah. So yeah. So let's keep playing this game, and yeah. All right. Oh, there's Marksman. Yeah! Oh shoot, I missed. My bad. Oh god. Ah, there we go. Double kill. Ooh, I like that. No, but yeah. Oh, I'm dead. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Let's just, you know what? Before I end the video right here, I'm gonna go to this fortification right here before I call it to quits here. So, but yeah. Okay. Come here. Bam! We got him. Ooh. Yeah! There we go. Frick. Ooh. There we go. Whew. Alright, doing all well. Ooh, headshot. Alright. There we go. Oh. Yeah. Oh, I missed. My goodness. Alright. Bro. Oh my goodness. Die. Bam. There we go. Alright. Keep going. Oh god, no. I'm surrounded by marksmen. Come here. Alright. Damn. Oh my goodness. Come here. Yeah. Wah, wah, wah. Come here. Alright. Oh wait, my gun's already reloaded. Okay, that's good. And flap. Oh god, no. And flop. Alright. Oh, there's elite guards here. Bam. Ooh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh god, no. Yeah. Oh no, I might die. I'm almost out of health here. Alright, you know what? Since this is a really good fun and gameplay, yeah, so I think this is probably a good video. I think this is a good way to pretty much sums it up and end the video here. I hope you guys really enjoyed the video, and in some future videos I might make videos of different eras that I've unlocked, including World War II in the Pacific, the most recent one I've got in my rank 3 in this game. And I hope you guys learned something new from my history lesson, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. So Airon's out. Peace. Come on.